Hands-On is sponsored in part by
Elmer's Products Incorporated, manufacturers of a variety of adhesives, arts and crafts, and office products for use at home, school, or business for over 60 years. Elmers.com. Fluorocraft, the Dow Chemical Company, styrofoam brand foam. Make it fun. Fluorocraft.com. Styrofoamcrafts.com.
Travel around the world on this season of Hands-On Crafts for Kids. We're visiting a different country each episode and learning about their culture and traditions through crafts. Every project has 5 steps and 5 main ingredients, plus you'll want to keep basic supplies like scissors and markers and toothpicks and even a ruler on hand. Remember, be creative. It's fine to change colors or patterns to make your project your own. So let's learn about different countries with fun craft ideas. Mexico is a country located south of the United States in Central America. It has a range of climates from tropical rainforests to dry mountains. Our crafts feature traditional designs and lots of color. The first craft is called huichol or beadware. We create a simple version of this craft. Then it's time for the ojodijas. Using sticks and yarn, we create a traditional God's eye pattern. Then we create banderas or cut paper banners. Finally, it's beautiful paper blooms in every color of the rainbow. So let's get started. Our first project is a beaded plate. Huichol or beaded works are a new type of art for a group of people from central Mexico. The usual way to create this is to press glass, plastic, or metal beads into beeswax inside a wood form. There are special patterns and symbols. We're using seed beads and a clay saucer. Here's what you'll need. We have our clay saucer. We've chosen blue sand, but you can choose any color. We're using a thick glue. And then we have number 6 seed beads. You could also use number 4 or any size bead that you have handy in whatever color you'd like. On our tools, we have a sponge brush, a pencil, and scissors. Okay, so the first thing to get started is we have our clay saucer, and you're going to go to our website. We'll have the pattern. This is the pattern for the center of our design. So I'm going to lay that in the center of my saucer and trace around the outside edge. And this is all going to be covered by our glue and our beads, so don't worry about going outside of the lines. And I continue doing that. Let's set that aside. Once I've done the center design, I also could do little squares. You can choose any design you'd like, but I've chosen squares. The easiest way would be to cut a 1-inch square and then trace it. Now we're going to add our first section. In the center, we're going to do red beads. So I'm going to take my glue and only put it where I want my red beads to go. Remember, this will dry clear, so you don't have to worry about any showing. Then I'm going to take my beads and sprinkle them on top. Now in the real huichol, it will actually be an intricate pattern that's been designed and each bead is put in individually. But for us, we're going to just drop them in and cover the center section. And just smooth them down, flatten them out until you get exactly what you'd like. Now you want to let that one dry before you go on to the next color. I've got one here with the red is all done. And now we want to add the yellow. So again, I'm going to go on the edge. If you need to, you can use a paintbrush to smooth that in and make sure you get all the way over. But remember, you have to have glue in every section of each square to have the beads adhere. and work right up to the edge. Again, I'm going to drop these on. It's fine if the extra ones roll around the side because I can then slide those on to put them back into my container. And press those down until they're all nice and flat. Now, any of those extra beads, I'll just slip them off. And then if I find that I've missed any spots, I can add those in one at a time. Okay, now I've got my yellow completed and I've done yellow squares. Now the next step is the blue. Again, we'd use the same process, do each block one at a time. Now this project would work with sand as well. It wouldn't have the same intricate look as the beads do. And we've got one blue one there that I want to slip out. And we'd go around until we have all the blue completed. And here it is, all completed all the way around. Our last step would be to add glue everywhere and then fill it in with red. Now, I want to also add a rim of sand, but instead of using the glue straight from the bottle, I've added some water just to make it a little bit thinner. Let's add a little bit more glue. And I'm going to brush that anywhere I want the sand to adhere. Now you can go all the way down, or you can choose to do it just on the lip of the bowl. And I kind of like to do it in sections, so I'm not covering everything at one time. As you can see too, I have wax paper on my work surface to catch any of the extra sand. So I'm just going to sprinkle it on. You can use a spoon if you'd like, or I'm just shaking this little container that I've put it in. And then your excess sand would come off, and then I would continue on all the way around. Now you can design your pattern in anything that you like. You might want to look up on the internet and look at other huichol designs. There's lots of different patterns. Let's continue on until we get that whole thing covered. And we'll sprinkle the end of the sand. Now if you miss any areas or you get some where you don't want it on the beads, remember when it dries you can take that right off. And there we have our finished plate. Let's take a look at our finished design. Our next project is the Ojo de Dios. It's very similar to the Southwest Indian ceremonial shield using yarn and sticks, but these God's eyes are very traditional to Mexico. Here's what you'll need. I've started out with a kit that makes 25 of these projects, but you could also purchase the supplies independently. This one has instructions, dowels, table covering, and all the yarn you'll need. And also you want to have on hand scissors, ruler, pencil, and a scrap of cardboard. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to find the center of our dowels. You can use your ruler to find exactly at the middle. These are about 9 inches, so at about 4.5 inches, I'm going to make a little pencil mark. I'm going to cross the dowels at this level, and then I'm going to trim a 5-inch piece of yarn. So I'll take my yarn here. Let's cut off about 5 inches. And I want to tie these together. So I'm going to go around again, loop to the back, and then loop this one over. What you want to do is just get a nice secure knot. Let me put this down so it'll be easier. And then divide them up. Once you start making your project, it'll be a lot more secure. So let's go one more time this way, and knot it again. Now in this project, the first one color I'm going to use is yellow. So you probably would have tied a yellow knot, but I wanted to make sure you could see where I started. So let's get our yellow yarn ready. Okay, to start the project, we're going to catch this tail when we get down a little bit farther, but I'm going to hold it with my left hand with my finger underneath. Then I'm going to wrap around twice. Then I'm coming under the next one, wrapping once. Go to the next one, wrap once. Come around again and wrap once. As you can see, the sticks are moving a little bit yet, but that's just because we're starting. Wrap around once, and I'm going to keep twisting it in my hands. It'll become a lot more secure once we get going. Wrap, wrap. Now that I've gotten a little bit farther, I can start holding it with my thumb right on top. And your design will start to form. Let's get a little bit farther so you can see it. There's variations on this too. Sometimes you can see it where people will wrap it twice. Sometimes they will not cross the stick right in the center. They'll cross them towards the top. Okay, now you can see the design starting to form. Now, the only difference, do you see where that brown is? You would not see that on a normal one, but you can see that crisscross. Now, here's one that I've been working on for a little bit longer, and I've got this whole design done. Now, when it's time to add another color, all we need to do is knot the two together and make sure that goes to the back. Okay. Again, let's turn it to the other side. Wrap, wrap, and keep going until you have the desired length. What's important is to not turn your work upside down, because if you change whichever way you start is the way you want to continue, because if you turn it, you're going to get a little bit different pattern. And you can see there, it's starting to cross again, and we're forming that ridge, which is traditional to the design. Now we're ready to make our tassels. So I'm going to take a 4-yard piece of yarn, let me find the end here, and I'm going to wrap it around my piece of cardboard. Don't wrap too tight, because then it's hard to slip it off. Okay, then I'm going to take another little scrap of yarn, slide it underneath, and tie it in a knot right at the top. Let me turn that to you. Then I'm going to take my scissors, slide them under, and we have a tassel. So now I'll hold that together, add another piece of yarn about 1 inch from the top, and tie that off. Slide my fingers in. Now you can make one and just put it at the corner, at the bottom, or you can choose to make 2. So let's trim that off and make those tassels nice and even. Okay, so we have 1 tassel. So, and let's go back here and we'll continue going with our design. Again, let's turn it upside down. Let me move this out of the way. Oops. Wrap. Now, you could add another color at this point. We're just working with yellow and brown, but you could choose to add maybe a purple. You can choose to add beads or feathers to your design. There's really all different possibilities as to determined by what color yarn you use, what weight yarn you use. And it's really, you're able to make really intricate patterns once you've done these. And you can see they move pretty quick. Now you can see a little bit more of that design with the brown. See how pretty it looks. Let's finish up our project. So we have our tassel that we made. Let's put just one down on the end. And you can see I have what might be considered the wrong side of the project up, but you can really choose whichever you'd like. I kind of like the way this looks on this design. So I'll tie that out, and I'm just putting a single tassel on this one, and then let's put a hanger on the top. And to put the hanger on, I'm going to loop through the design. And this is about 24 inches. Just tie a simple overhand knot at the top, and then this can hang on the wall, and you can do shorter or longer. So let's take one last look at the finished project. Our next project is paper banners. Banderos, or cut paper banners, have been made in Mexico since the time of the Aztecs. We're concentrating on creating interesting color patterns. Here's what you'll need. We're actually starting out with pre-cut banner paper in 3 different designs, but it's an art form all in itself to cut this paper. We also have different dyes, liquid watercolors, cake watercolors, and we have our spray bottle. So let's get started. Okay, the first design here is a flower design, and what I'm going to do is take my spray bottle and wet the paper. And as I said, you know what, in certain villages in Mexico, there's an amazing art form of cutting these stencils and creating designs for different holidays, like Cinco de Mayo. Okay, now I've added some of the liquid watercolor into some spray bottles. So we can start out. That's the orange, so that would be a single color. Now I can go back in. Let's take another one. So there's orange. Let's add one here. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time, instead of doing misting at first, which will cause the colors to bleed more, I'm just going to spray individually. Now you get a whole different look with that because you're going to get darker splotches of colors in different places, almost a tie-dye look. Now if I come back in with another color, the red, then following our color wheel, we're going to do red and blue make purple. Now we could leave it just like that, or we can choose to go back now with a spray bottle and cause those colors to run. The paper is a special kind of paper that it is like a watercolor paper. It's a little bit heavier and the colors will spread more. Now here's another design. Another thing that you can do is to brush on your color, and you can see I've got lots of paint underneath here from the original, the first time that I sprayed. And you're getting that really pretty effect of the colors bleeding through from the back. Now I also can take the colors when they're thicker in the bottle and dot the colors down. Now watch. So that I can get kind of a design. And again, I can go back and spray and cause those colors to spread. See? Okay, now I'm going to leave that one down. Let's take another design. Swipe that off. Move that to the side. Hopefully I've gotten most of the color off of that one. Let's do a different design. Again, I'm going to, oh, that purple looks really neat. Okay, let's take and do a tie-dye. Take yellow. Let's take some red around the outside edge. And then let's take the blue. We'll put that on the edge. Okay, now, again, I'm going to go back with my spray bottle and watch what happens as the colors start to spread. You can get a starburst pattern. The blue is going to run into the center. Just make sure you've covered your work surface like we have here, just with some garbage bags, so that you don't get dye on anything else or your watercolors. But have fun, play with the banner paper. As I said, we've got 3 different cut designs here. And let's take a look at our finished samples where we've done 1 color in the bottom, then 2 colors, and then 3 colors.
Our next project is paper blooms. Festive flowers and bright colors are a traditional Mexican craft found on every street corner. Let's see what we need to make our own. Okay, you need some tissue paper in whatever color you like, plus green for the stems and leaves. heavy craft wire, floral tape, a 2-inch styrofoam ball, and the tools we need are scissors, decorative edge scissors, a plastic knife. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is cut your tissue paper into 10-inch by 15-inch pieces. And you only need 8 of those pieces. I've got several here, but when you stack your 8 pieces, you want to have your dark colors at the bottom and then go lighter towards the top. Once you choose your pieces, you're going to cut around the edge with your decorative scissors. I've gone ahead and clipped mine with clothespins so the papers don't shift around while I cut. So I'm going to finish this side off by cutting with these scissors. And there's so many fun decorative edge scissors in stores. You might find one that just is right up your alley. And then just pull this off to the side as you go. And don't worry if it's not perfect, because the tissue paper will kind of scrunch and wrinkle up as you form your flower. Okay, so now I've got my 10-inch by 15-inch pieces, and I'm going to remove the bottom clothespin and start accordion folding. 1-inch widths. So there's 1 inch, and then you're going to turn it over and fold the entire width of your papers. Once you get to the end, just take that clip off and finish. Okay, we want to make sure that everything's nice and tight, and then you're going to take your craft wire and fold it over the middle section. It's important to put your lightest color facing upward. Then just fold your wire over and make a nice tight twist at the bottom. Okay, now we're going to start teasing up the layers of tissue. And I found what's kind of handy is just to let go of the wire and focus on the top. I'm kind of tucking the wire in between myself and the table. And then just start pulling these layers upward. And this will take some fussing and time. We've already got one ready here to go. And you'll notice we're missing our center, so let's work on that. You're going to just take your 2-inch styrofoam ball and cut it in half. You may need some adult help with this. Now, we've got another piece of tissue paper that's 6 square inches. I'm going to use 2 layers here to cover mine. And what you're going to do is put some glue all around the bottom, and then just fold your tissue paper up and around it. And you may have to add some more glue in the cracks and crannies of this piece. Whoops. And then just kind of smush that all together. And then you can kind of smooth it over with your hands to get rid of the lumps and bumps. Then just put a little bit of glue around the outside rim and stick it right in the center of your flower. Now, we're going to use this floral tape that may not seem so sticky at first, but it is once you start to stretch and overlap it with itself. Just turn your flower over, and we're going to start at the end. And you're just going to twist and cover the entire stem with the tape. And we've already got one ready here. And now we're going to add some leaves. Now if you get on our website, you can find all the patterns for the leaves, and you want to cut them out of 3 different shades of green to get nice dimension. I've got some ready here, and I've put my lightest color on top and the biggest, darkest color on the bottom. Then you're just going to fold them and put them wherever you like on the stem, and then use your floral tape again to secure them. And then you can add another set of leaves just below the last set in the same way. And this is going to make a really nice, bright flower. Let's take a look at some of our finished flowers.
Next time on Hands On, we're crossing the ocean again as we head to the coast of Africa and Ghana. We hope you'll stop by for more cultural crafts.
Projects and ideas from today's show, plus hundreds of other kids' craft projects, are available on the web at craftsforkids.com. This is Program 1310. A DVD set of all 13 episodes of Hands-On Crafts for Kids, Crafts Around the World, Series 1300, is available for $49.99 plus $6 shipping and handling. Visit craftsforkids.com to order. Travel to distant lands with Hands-On.
Hands On is sponsored in part by
Elmer's Products Incorporated, manufacturers of a variety of adhesives, arts and crafts, and office products for use at home, school, or business for over 60 years. Elmers.com. Fluorocraft, the Dow Chemical Company, styrofoam brand foam. Make it fun. Fluorocraft.com. Styrofoamcrafts.com.